very, very quiet out here where I'm at. We are close to Mooringsport, Louisiana today. Louisiana, a state I love. I love coming down here. I love playing music here. I love a lot of the history of the state. But anyway, we're here today to pay respects to a guy who I don't think he gets the due that he deserves. He's responsible for a lot more of the blues music and stuff than people give him credit for. It's a guy named Huddie Ledbetter, or Leadbelly. And if you don't think you know who that is or know him, you probably know him. Because in the early 90s, a band called Nirvana covered one of his songs, and it's one of the best songs on their MTV Unplugged album. Anyway, take a look at the grave of Mr. Huddie Ledbetter. It's not a big cemetery we're at. It probably won't be a real long video today, but it's going to be a pretty cool one. Pretty nice drive out here. I'm on the road by myself today. No Paul and no Lisa. Just me cruising through Louisiana. So anyway, just kind of walk around and have a look around. Ramblin' Ted's coming at you. This guy was born in 1888. Huddie Ledbetter was. He gave himself the name Leadbelly at some point. In the early 1900s, he was already a known guitar player and singer in this area in Louisiana. He played in the pretty notorious red light district in Shreveport quite a bit. Lived a pretty wild life. Did I think by the 20s he'd already done a stint in prison. His first stint, I believe. And then if you've ever heard of a guy named Lomax, Lomax was a folk music and blues music historian who was responsible for going around. He recorded a lot of these people that otherwise would have got very little attention, and ended up being his driver for a while, and then recording music and traveling with him, and had quite a few adventures. You can find a lot of this stuff online. If I go into dates, I'm numerically dyslexic, I guess is the term for it. I don't do dates very well. I tend to mess them up or get them backwards. I went through the entire video I did on Dan Blocker, Hoss Cartwright. I mentioned several times that he was 48 when he passed away, and he was 43, as many people have mentioned in the comments. So I'm not going to do a lot of dates. I don't do that. I will get it wrong. You can look up on Wikipedia, look up all the information you want to about this guy. But anyway, I've got a few anecdotes. He was a man. There are some when you start getting down here in Louisiana. The water table gets a little funny. So a lot of these graves are more crypt-like than grave-like. Still most of the graves are underground though. But anyway, so when he drove around for the Lomaxes and did all that, and he influenced a lot of people. He wrote a lot of songs that you still know to this day. I think he wrote the old Cotton Fields Back Home, even if I remember right. But anyway, he was kind of unknown for quite a while. People didn't really pay attention. And then in the 90s, a band called Nirvana, which I was not a huge fan of Nirvana. I wasn't a fan. Okay, I'm going to level with you. Back then, I was more of a hair metal, hard rock kind of guy. I liked my hair, glam metal. And when this grunge stuff came out, it kind of was stepping on that a little bit, and I didn't appreciate it a whole lot. But anyway, as the years have gone by, I've grown to appreciate it a little more, and I think Nirvana's MTV Unplugged album is one of the greatest performances I've ever heard in my life by anybody, and it gave me a completely different respect for Kurt Cobain and what he was doing. But he did a song on there called it "Where Did You Sleep Last Night?" I think the original name of the song was "In the Pines," but it was a cover of a Huddie Ledbetter tune. So, and man, there There are several Ledbetters buried here. These are all graves of Ledbetters that are relatives of Huddies. So that's I wasn't expecting that. I did not know that. So. I know Huddie, or Ledbelly, lived in Bowie County, Texas, which is where I live, for quite some time. And he played all over this area on what they'd call the later on they call it the Chitlin Circuit, is what the nickname is. But it's a basically Highway 67 between Little Rock and Dallas, and all the little places in between, and all the tiny little juke joints these guys would play at. And I got a taste of that when I first started playing music myself. It was in a lot of blues bands. I was played with a guy named King Arthur. I've mentioned him before, I think, who was just a great musician. Looked like Billy D. Williams. And he taught me a lot. And I traveled with him a lot and played music. And I grew to really love playing blues. And the blues itself is just it's a deep subject that you can get into. And man, it just goes on and on, the history. That's a neat little cemetery. A lot of above ground concrete vaults. Kind of neat. But anyway, yeah, and I'm a little out there today and distracted. It's been a weekend. It's been a time. But anyway, lost my train of thought. Completely lost my train of thought. Happens to me a lot. But anyway, Ledbelly, after Nirvana covered his songs, he started getting a little more attention. He believe he passed away in 1949 from I don't want to get this wrong, but I believe it was Lou Gehrig's disease. I believe it was what came to be known as Lou Gehrig's disease. But anyway, let's take a look at over here and take a look at Mr. Ledbetter's grave. There it is. Huddie, Ledbetter. A lot of people put Ledbelly together as one word, but he himself wrote it as two, and he that's how he wanted it. So quite a guy, a really, really large man. Called himself the king of the 12-string guitar, and I don't know if you can see that. It's the sun's kind of setting behind there, though. Elected to the Songwriters Hall of Fame in New York in 1972, Nashville Songwriters Hall of Fame in Nashville, Tennessee in 1980, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in New York in 1988. That's amazing. Southern Songwriters Hall of Fame from Shreveport in 1989, and the Northwest Louisiana Hall of Fame in Bossier City in 91. And just a really nice stone they've got here. King of the 12-string guitar. If you ever heard it, listen to him, take a chance and you look online and look up some of his music. Plays, I guess you'd call it like barrel house style, and just a lot of power in the way he strums the guitar and the way he plays and sings. It's just there's an undeniable force going on there that's almost otherworldly. I can't describe it. You just have to hear it. But it's the kind of stuff I really like. Brought a guitar pick to leave. Here's to you, sir. So, really enjoyed your music. Someone's come along and put some Mardi Gras beads across here. Just kind of a fitting tribute to the man, I think. If I'm remembering right, Huddie was in prison one time for, I believe it was murder. And I can't remember the exact story of what happened. And I think he was pardoned. I think he got pardoned by the governor of Louisiana and let him out. And had several hit songs after that. He's quite a guy, had quite a life. Like I say, I wouldn't do him justice by trying to repeat it or talk about it that much, because I would just get a lot of stuff wrong. I would suggest going online. Wikipedia's got a good page on there, several web pages that tell a lot about his life story. But anyway, I just wanted to come out here and give y'all a look at his grave and visit it myself, because I've wanted to for a long time. But it's a nice little cemetery here. It's, like I say, it's just about 7 miles outside of Mooringsport. It's not too bad of a drive if you're coming from Texarkana, or if you're coming up from Shreveport. It's even closer if you happen to be in Shreveport or anything. This is kind of interesting. Let me show you this over here. It's a church. But the cemetery here is in the church parking lot, and I just noticed something kind of crazy over here, kind of neat. I'm gonna walk over here and let you see it. They have the church steeple or church spire is just kind of sitting here, sitting here by the parking area. I mean, it's even got part of the roof. Look at that, right there. Look at that. Part of the roof is still attached. They've just got the spire is just sitting here. That's a first. I don't know if there was an old church here before that's been torn down and they just wanted to keep the church spire, or what. But that's that's a new one on me. I've never seen a church spire just sitting in a field before, but it's here. You see all kinds of stuff when you're out on the road traveling around. Made of metal. Kind of a new one. All right, I'm gonna hop in my car and head back to Texarkana, back north for me. But I'm glad you joined me on this little trip to pay respects to Ledbetter, a true music pioneer in his day. He quite a guy. Always been a fan of his. I would highly suggest checking out his music if you've never listened to any of it, especially if you're a fan of Americana and music, roots of music and everything, like I am, because a lot of people owe a debt of gratitude to this man who's buried in a pretty nondescript small cemetery here in Louisiana. And yeah, Yep, he's quite a guy, quite a pioneer. All right, that's it for me. From just outside Mooringsport, Louisiana today, on this pretty 50-degree Sunday. It's not too bad for February. Anyway, like I always say, y'all be good to each other. Costs nothing to be nice. Costs nothing to think of your fellow person, and just kind of enjoy life. Go out and do some fun stuff, and it's not hard. Be good to each other. I want to thank everybody who subscribed to my channel. I'm moving up in the world. I'm getting up there and getting a lot of views, and I want to thank y'all, and I appreciate all your comments. If I say something wrong, I do not mind you straightening me out on that Dan Blocker video. I got straightened out on a couple of facts that I had wrong, and I appreciate you. I appreciate it. I'm not above making mistakes, and I do it a lot. So if I do make a mistake and you've got some information that will correct that, feel absolutely free to put it in the comments and say whatever you want. I can take it. I'm a big boy. So if I say something wrong and you want to straighten me out, I'm a big boy. I can take it. Y'all have a good one. I'll see you next week with another video. Until then, see you next time.